Welcome to the James Beard Foundation's Taste America, presented by Capital One, in association with American Airlines, the official airline of the James Beard Foundation. We'd like to thank our premier sponsors, Deloitte and Rabbit Hole Distillery, and thanks to our supporting sponsors, Kerrygold USA and Whole Foods Market. Our patron sponsors are Cason, Choose Chicago, Doe Wines, McCormick, and Observe. Additional support for Taste America is provided by Viterra Dinnerware. Our founding partner is Bowen & Company, and our official broadcast partner is Intersport. I'm Chef Antonia Lofaso, and prior to March, I had the privilege of taking a culinary tour of America's greatest cities. I traveled to Boston and Minneapolis, Oxford, Mississippi, New Orleans, and Seattle, meeting up with 5 James Beard award-winning chefs. Together, we tasted America. Tonight, we're gonna go on our own cross-country trip from the comfort of your kitchens and living rooms. We'll taste delicious dishes and drinks and celebrate our vast food culture. We'll also talk about the future of dining in America and hear from the chefs who are moving the restaurant industry forward. So happy you can join me for the James Beard Foundation's Taste America, presented by Capital One. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the James Beard Foundation's Taste America. I'm Antonia Lofaso, and I'm here in my hometown, Los Angeles. I'm thrilled to come together with all of you food lovers from across the country. I hope you got to do a little groove, a little dance, a little boogie to DJ Hesta Prynn as you put the last touches on your dinner. I know you've been taking snaps of your plating, so don't forget to tag @Beard Foundation on Instagram and hashtag Taste America so we can all take a look. The restaurants and chefs that have stepped forward for us to cook tonight, they're all amazing. So if you're sitting down to dinner at home in Atlanta or Boston or digging in Charleston or Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Louisville, Miami, Minneapolis, Nashville, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Portland, San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, D.C. That was a lot. Please share a pic of what you're having tonight. Tag hashtag Taste America and make everyone else jealous, because every dish is incredible. This is a celebration of local restaurant communities, and we want to thank you for showing all of them your support tonight. We're all sticking a little closer to home right now, but I can't wait for the day that I can visit all my favorite chefs and their restaurants around the country again. We have a wonderful show to watch while you enjoy delicious dishes created by your local chef. But we also want to offer a taste of what everyone else is having in their local restaurant communities, just like yours. We'd love for you to go and visit all of our guest chefs' restaurants when you can. So tell us, chefs, what's on the menu tonight?
Tonight, we're going to be cooking a cumin lamb shepherd's pie.
For dinner tonight, as an appetizer, we have chile de ajo tostada.
We're going to have some salmon tartare that is going to have some chiles toreados. It's going to take you right home.
The first course is seafood and vegetable chirashi.
A tromula marinated New York strip steak.
One is a kona kampachi. One is a beef short rib, both marinated.
We'll be serving a pork copa steak.
A ribeye steak, adding it to some tacos, and who doesn't love tacos?
Basically a great little steak. It's a tenderloin.
Our duck confit pot pie.
One's going to be our roasted Cornish hen, which is spiced with beer. The alternative will be a completely vegan dish, which is going to be our roasted acorn squash. It's roasted with curry.
Tonight there will be a salmon ufa. Ufa is a really traditional Russian soup.
3D farm raised chuck roast or braised beef, you can call it, with a succulent mole sauce.
We were making a thali, so it's going to be a lot of little dishes that you kind of all eat together.
There's just nothing like a fresh tortilla.
I knew I had to do something centered around this beautiful roe.
Braised beef with all the juices and the vegetables, and then we know it's a win dish.
For me, it's definitely the okra and tomatoes.
It's pretty when you look at it, and then every bite is different.
Because it's like lots of layers of flavors. They're all kind of baked together.
So that really celebrates who I am as a chef by having multiple flavors and different layers.
This is exactly the way that I grew grew up in Mexico, and my mom put this amazing mole.
It's delicious. It gets a little char on it, it caramelizes, it brings some sweetness out.
Just bringing back an opportunity to feel some comfort during some tough times.
I was inspired to create this dish because I wanted something that people could cook at home, reheat at home, but something that was resoundingly familiar and delicious.
We wanted to take a dish that really brought the restaurant experience to everybody's home.
Seasons always kind of spark stuff, so I think leaning into fall a little bit.
So really want to try to highlight some of the flavors that are coming into season here in Miami.
I think with the time of year we're in and also the kind of ups and downs that we've all been weathering,
I really liked the idea of creating something that was more celebratory.
It really changes everyone's perception of what a chile relleno is.
At the end of the day, it has to be an amazing flavors.
There's just some sort of nostalgic feeling to having tacos.
Foods that evoke memories and create a sense of comfort, which we could all use at this time.
Delicious.
Exciting.
Mouth-watering.
Amazing.
Nourishing.
Succulent.
comfort,
Comfort.
gratitude,
Mouth-watering.
Home style.
Brilliant.
Hello, everyone. I'm Claire Reichenbach, the CEO of the James Beard Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. By now, we're reconciled to the fact that nothing is business as usual, but I have to say, I rather like this new twist on Taste America. And taste indeed we will. The dishes prepared for your at-home dining pleasure this evening reflect the rich variety of American cooking. Each plate is unique, and each one sounds scrumptious. I wish I could taste all of them. So I want to thank all the chefs again for their delicious contributions and the spirit they brought to this challenge. Where would we be without such soul-nourishing reminders of one of the best things in life, good food? James Beard loved to say that food was our common ground, and indeed thousands of people all across the country are taking part in this celebration tonight. And it's lovely to enjoy this moment of togetherness, virtual though it may be. But I think Mr. Beard would also encourage us to consider the role that food plays in how our communities are formed and sustained for the long term. For over 30 years, the James Beard Foundation has encouraged chefs and restaurateurs to use their voices for positive change. In March, as the pandemic shuttered business after business, we threw ourselves into helping them. We formed our Industry Relief Fund to issue emergency grants. And we partnered with the Independent Restaurant Coalition to lobby Congress for deeper support. And we launched Open for Good, the foundation's campaign to help independent restaurants make it through this crisis, to rebuild back better and stronger and thrive in the longer term. That is what Open for Good must achieve. So we can nurture a restaurant culture that acknowledges the contributions of everyone who makes up this critical industry. I want to thank some very special allies and partners on this path, starting with our dedicated trustees, led by our board chair, Fred Siegel. Our gratitude as well to our incredibly committed staff, all the participants in tonight's events, and to our generous corporate partners. Many of them are facing their own challenges, but they have stood firm and dedicated themselves to uplifting the culinary community through this current crisis. Taste America is presented by Capital One, in association with American Airlines, the official airline of the James Beard Foundation. Our premier sponsors are Deloitte and Rabbit Hole Distillery. And thanks to our supporting sponsors, Kerrygold USA and Whole Foods Market. Our patron sponsors are Kaysen, Choose Chicago, Doe Wines, McCormick, and Upserve. Additional support for Taste America is provided by Playcon and the Viterra Dinnerware. Our founding partner is Bowen & Company, and our official broadcast partner is Intersport. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support. And now, since no feast is complete without a toast, I'd like to raise a glass to all the chefs and independent restaurants who have cooked for us tonight, to their creativity, their resilience, and their brilliance. Cheers, and enjoy the show. Now I turn things over to our partners at Distinguished Vineyards, who provided all the delicious wine pairings that we're enjoying this evening. The foundation has launched a special collaboration with them for their new label, Doe Wines. Here's winemaker Heidi Breidenhagen and managing director Steve Myers to tell you more. Cheers, Heidi and Steve.
Cheers, Claire, and thank you. Founding Doe Wines in collaboration with the James Beard Foundation is a result of the shared values between our two organizations and our common desire to both make good and do good. Through our partnership, the James Beard Foundation will receive an annual contribution from Distinguished Vineyards, which will be used to promote equality in the kitchen, heighten food sustainability, and to support restaurant recovery during these challenging times. We strive to make the most delicious wines by the most talented people. So we're excited to have our winemaker, Heidi Breidenhagen, leading us forward on this new endeavor by crafting Doe wines, which are both rooted in place and purpose. So I hope you'll enjoy our 4 new wines, which are available nationwide in stores and restaurants, and that you'll join us online at doewines.com to learn more about our cause and about the exciting new wines and future events to follow. Enjoy this evening as you taste America and raise a glass for good, and thank you for joining us as we rise to the occasion and work together to make a positive difference across our communities. Cheers.
Cheers, Steve, and good evening, everyone. I'm Heidi Breidenhagen, the winemaker for Doe Wines. It's an honor to join you tonight for Taste America. I'm so glad that you are all celebrating independent restaurants and enjoying our wine. I have been supporting the impact program work of the James Beard Foundation for 3 years. It's really important to me, and this project represents a great link to my shared values. I was drawn to be a catalyst for good for 2 reasons. In California, where I live and work, only 4% of head winemakers are women, and the foundation's pillar of gender equality resonated strongly with me. Secondly, I get to create wines from renowned and diverse growing regions. I worked with a group of impact program chefs and sommeliers to determine the wine styles. We talked about America's food culture, their restaurants, cuisines, diverse customers, and what would make the wines most food-friendly and simply delicious. Pinot Noir has always been one of my favorite varietals. I was so excited to explore Oregon Pinot Noir for Doe, the range of vineyards and terroir. It was just a joy to blend the best into the wine that you have in your glass. For me, I really love the aromas of tart cherry and red fruit. The subtle dried floral aromas are concentrated, and in the mouth, the wine shows rich cocoa, black cherry, and raspberry. And the acidity makes it a most versatile food wine. I encourage you to smell, taste, and savor it tonight with your meal, and I look forward to sharing a glass or 2 in person in the future. Enjoy your evening, and thank you for the support of the James Beard Foundation and Rising to the Occasion with Doe.
This collaboration with Doe Wines is right up my alley. I get to drink wine and support the James Beard Foundation at the same time. There are so many ways to help, but this one is genius. And what better way to enjoy what you're drinking than with a great story? Because honestly, that's what restaurants are. They are great stories. From the food on the plate to the chair you're sitting in, there's always a tale to tell. So we're gonna sit back for a minute now and learn how and why some of our chefs tonight got into this business in the first place and what has kept them going ever since. So please help me welcome chefs A. John Carter of the Macintosh in Charleston, Kelly Fields of Willa Jean in New Orleans. I love that restaurant. Brandon Jew of Mr. Jew's in San Francisco. And from my hometown here in LA, my friend Bricia Lopez of Guelaguetza. Everyone enjoy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining, chefs. It's such a pleasure being here with all of you. Before we get started conversation, I would love to know what you guys are drinking. What are you guys drinking? Is anyone drinking? Are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm drinking some house-made kombucha. It's a jasmine kombucha made from the jasmine tree right behind us.
Oh, wow. Are you from LA or what, girl? That sounds like an LA drink to have.
I'm from
Kelly, what are you having?
I have the exciting beverage of water at the moment.
So you know what? We all need more water in our lives. I would say that's going to be a hot commodity in about 30 years.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm going to get it while I can.
Yep. Brandon?
I have like a wine spritzer.
You're talking my language. I'm just having a plain old mezcal here because I wanted to just kind of get in the mood. I mean, you know, it's 2:00 where I am, and that's the time I have my 1 ounce of mezcal every single day. And my grandma used to have it every day and kept her young and beautiful, so I'm gonna have the same. That's kind of like how I live my life. But I wanted to speak to you guys about stories and our stories. And I think like to every amazing story, there's a great beginning, right? There's always a great beginning where everything starts. And I would just love to know how each of your stories begins. There aren't any coincidences, I don't think, in life. And I would just love to know how you guys started, how you all started cooking, and really where does your journey start to where you are today? We'll kick it off with JC.
Okay, cool. Well,
John Carter, JC.
John Carter, JC, what's up? I've literally never wanted to do anything else in my whole life. I knew when I was 8 years old that I was going to be a chef, and everyone in my family was just like, well, I was always a chubby kid growing up, and they were just like, well, you don't want to be a chef, you just like to eat, you know, like it's different. And I was like, no, like I'm going to be a chef, like this is what I'm going to do, like I love food. And so in that instance, I feel like I was born with this passion, and more so like it found me than me finding it. Growing up, I just remember hanging out with my grandma in the kitchen and hanging out with my dad. I know in most families, like, you know, the mom is traditionally the one who's in the kitchen doing all the cooking, but
yeah,
my dad's foreign from South America, Guyana, and he doesn't eat out. He cooks every single meal for himself every single day. So just kind of growing up and watching, you know, my pops being in the kitchen, cooking 4 to 5 meals a day, including snacks, and never going to McDonald's or Wendy's, no matter how much I wanted
wow.
to. Just kind of really instilled like a love and the compassion and the fellowship that comes from food. So I didn't find my journey. My journey has found me, and I don't know. I've literally never wanted to do anything else, so it kind of feels that simple.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I wish my husband would cook snacks every single day for my child who I am who's in virtual kindergarten, but that's a separate conversation. Kelly, how did you get started cooking?
My story is sort of the same. I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, and you know, just like the tree behind you that you're making cocktails of, I lived on the Ashley River, and my mom grew all of the produce that we used growing up. So a lot of times after school, I would go in the backyard and catch something, or go shrimping, or pull up crab traps and pick something and go cook it. And you know, I have 2 siblings, and we would rotate who got to cook dinner, who had to cook dinner, not who got to, because it wasn't. It was a chore back then. And then I just really started to enjoy it and experiment with it. And it wasn't until you know, the mid 90s that I realized that, you know, with the rise of the Food Network and you know, all the stuff that you could actually make a living as a chef and get into the business. And as soon as that sort of hit me, and I went and helped a friend that I moved to New Orleans, and a friend had a bakery, and I went to help her. And as soon as that was something I learned in my life, I've never looked back. I've never tried to do anything else, and you know, dove headfirst into pastry. And 25 years later, it's still I get up in the morning. So. Yeah.
And did you have someone who maybe was a major influencer, who was a mentor in your career?
Yeah, I call her my biggest cheerleader in professional and personal life was my grandmother, Willie Jean. I named my restaurant after. And you know, when I decided to do this, she was the biggest advocate. And you know, my parents thought I needed to go to college and blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to cook.
Normal parent stuff.
Yeah. My grandma was like, no, if you found something you love, you have to do it. And made it possible for me to pursue it head first. So.
Oh, I love that. Shout out to your grandma.
Yeah.
Period. Shout out to grandma for supporting your dreams.
Love grandma.
For real.
Grandmas are the best.
Brandon, what about you? Where does your story begin?
When I was in college, like the closest job to me was a restaurant, and so I went from like a food runner to really like a line cook because someone didn't show up that day, and I think from that point, I just started becoming more and more interested and going into better kitchens every year, and that kind of it really, by the time I graduated, I knew that I wanted to cook and only cook, and that's what kind of I left I moved to Italy and cooked in Italy right after college. So but yeah, it seems so long ago.
Well, I think right now everything seems so long ago, to be honest with you. Last week seems like so long ago. But was there anyone in your life who was maybe an important influence or a mentor that you attribute your journey to?
The most influential teachers I had were just like my other chef cohorts here is my grandma. She was a big part of just giving me kind of that North Star kind of idea of how good Chinese food could be. So yeah.
I love that grandmas are like the center of this conversation. I mean, I started talking about my grandma and Miss Gail and Kelly, your grandma, Brandon, your grandma, because it's not just about us. It's about the families that we've created in our restaurant. It's about all the families that really rely on us, on chefs' talents all over the country. I would just love to talk to you guys about what it means to be that leader in your community today. I don't know if you want to speak on that, Kelly, first, but what has that meant for you during these times?
Yeah, I mean, it's a role that we as chefs automatically step into when we take the helm of a restaurant, whether we know what it means or what that impact is. Like, you know, it's taken me 20 years to understand that what I do or what I say or how I do it or how I say it has an impact on other people. How to lead in this time, there's more pressure and more responsibility and more obligation than ever. You know, for me, it's just my obligation to my team and to my restaurant and to my community is to just elevate the people who make Willow Jean what it is.
Thank you, Kelly. What about you, JC?
I would say before I ever felt like I was a leader in my community, I've always felt like a leader in my family. I'm the oldest of three. And now, you know, years later, being in the role that I am now, it's that same thing where the things that I do and the things that I say have, like Kelly was saying, has an effect on the people around me. So it's like you don't have to break someone down. Like, what if you just built them up, right?
Yeah.
What if you just built them up and you praised in public and then you criticized, you know, in private, and how does that work? Well, what happens when you have an employee come in and you just pour love and positive affirmations into them every single day? So just always trying to lead from a place of love and trying to change the industry for what I wish it was in some regards coming up through it. I guess that's how I lead in my community.
That's awesome. And what about you, Brandon? What does it mean to be a leader in your community today?
I think I wasn't really a natural born leader. I've had to learn to become one, and just like how JC was talking about, like I didn't really learn in the best environment from the people that taught me initially. You know, I think I've always relied on leading by example. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to start to understand how to build my communication to best give criticism and give it positively. But I think through the pandemic, I've kind of been concentrating on just my transparency to my team. And that just means like telling them what kind of decisions that I'm trying to make right now in the middle of some of these really hard decisions to make. And being vulnerable to just that, those decisions that are really hard to make.
Well, to finish, first of all, thank you guys for your incredible, honest, and vulnerable answers. But to finish, I just want to ask in one sentence, tell us what is your greatest joy in being a chef, and what helps you keep going? We'll go with Brandon this time because ladies have been going first at the time, and it's an equal opportunity conversation. Brandon.
I would say just the opportunity to be creative. I know that it's a privilege and something that, you know, I've had to earn. And so being able to just be creative and actually get paid to be creative, I think it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. John Carter.
Spreading love through food. It's what I was put on this earth to do, and gets me out of bed and makes me my happiest. Spreading love through food.
And Chef Kelly.
I think mine is just like sort of like spreading love is just nourishing. And, you know, if that's somebody coming in the restaurant, we're feeding them and nourishing their senses or nourishing the growth of the people who come in and work every day. Like, that's the stuff that keeps me going.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for supporting your local restaurant. And thank you to the James Beard Foundation for putting this incredible panel together. We'll see you guys at Taste America.
Bye. It was nice meeting you, chefs.
Every day something changes.
We shut down for 4 months. Our team was decimated. We had to furlough so many of our family.
I'm sitting in our dining room that is basically a storage facility at the moment.
We had to close some restaurants.
We lost probably 60% of our working team.
I've really had some time to look at myself in the mirror and reflect and try and do a real hard reset.
But you know, as a chef, I think you're trained to continue to push through the challenges, and I define success a lot by overcoming challenges, and we've certainly had a lot of them during this time.
We're used to like these craziness, but this is just taken to a whole other level.
Now we try to make it to go and then make sure that it travels well.
Started offering a home meal delivery service.
We went from profitability and purpose of business to sustainability. We dropped all our prices by over 40%, streamlined our menus, and really pioneered the contactless to-go service.
Outdoor dining, focusing on takeout. We've become a wholesaler. We started producing vodka. So I guess we've sort of learned a lot of trades.
We've done so many more virtual events just like this, and we're selling classes online.
One of the things I'm most proud of at the beginning of this, we started a Colorado Restaurant Response, where we fed 525 people every single day, 7 days a week. 100 of those meals went to industry workers every single day, so people that were furloughed had an opportunity to pick up meals.
We launched a grocery delivery program that was donor funded, and with another partner restaurant, we delivered over 100,000 pounds of culturally appropriate groceries to immigrant families.
We're very fortunate to be able to partner with Feed the Frontline. So we've been able to serve over 119,000 meals to local area hospitals.
We fed 3,000 first responders in the first month of the pandemic, and that turned into us starting our own nonprofit, Usos 1913, which provided today over 63,000 meals to Houstonians in need.
I'm really proud that we all rally around each other instead of like going inward and being like beaten by it. We really fought.
We put out an email asking people to come and support us, and we thought we would get maybe 10% of what we actually got.
It's amazing how customers are so kind and helping, supporting the servers, with monetary help.
You know, they say that Midwest nice is around here. It's really it's genuine, and you see in times like this that people come out to take care of the small businesses and the people that work there.
I'm really proud of how the community really came together here.
I think this time has really brought this level of appreciation to our back at the house staff a lot more. We see a lot more emails and thank notes from customers directly to the kitchen staff.
What they've really proven to me is like the investment in community will ultimately reciprocate.
I think everyone knows right now that the best thing we can do is just have a restaurant to come back to on the other side of it.
Our focus really is on keeping the restaurants going, and still we really yearn to be able to cook and entertain for our guests.
The overwhelming message is that people understand and they are looking to us to try to keep driving things forward. We really feel like the community is showing up for us, and that's what gives me a lot of hope.
Hey, it's Jesse Tyler Ferguson, in case you didn't recognize me behind the mask. I am here to give a shout out to all of my friends in the restaurant industry here in Los Angeles and all across the country. Admit it, okay? At the beginning of this quarantine, we were all experts in making sourdough bread, banana bread, zucchini. If it was a bread, we wanted to make it, and we wanted to just own it. But then after a while, we're like, okay, I would like for someone to feed me. I mean, we all got hungry for tacos at one point, didn't we? So I've seen how much care our local restaurant workers are taking to keep their customers safe. And I want to remind everyone out there to return the favor. Okay, the James Beard Foundation is partnering with the Aspen Institute to develop a diner's code of conduct. By following these simple rules, you can keep restaurant workers safe and you can keep your favorite establishments open for good. This isn't molecular gastronomy, folks. We got this. Just a little culinary joke there, because molecular gastronomy is very complicated, which this is not. I like to over-explain things. So first, if you're not feeling well, stay home and reschedule. That's a no-brainer. Secondly, wear your mask and keep social distance when you're entering a restaurant, when you're checking in, when you're visiting the restroom. Be courteous and respectful to your servers when they ask you to follow the rules. And remember to put your mask on when speaking to the staff members and whenever the waiter comes to your table. Why am I gesturing so much? And this isn't one of the official codes of conduct, but I'm adding it. Tip your wait staff generously. They are truly frontline workers, so show your appreciation. Thank you. Thank you.
Now that's a piece of positive messaging. Friendly, but factual and to the point. Speaking as someone who is currently running 3 restaurants, I appreciate this reminder. We all need reminders, nudges, gentle prodding, whatever you want to call it, because we're all human and we slip up. But these rules are so important for everyone. I'm so incredibly proud of my team and their dedication to keeping people safe and healthy. Please let's work together and help keep restaurants open for good. Now, I don't know about you, but after cooking and eating, my next favorite thing is traveling. I like it best when I can do all 3. We all want to travel with confidence, and our sponsors at American Airlines take that very seriously. So whenever you're ready to fly again, they want you to know they will be ready for you. And to kickstart your travel plans, the James Beard Foundation has entered all of you in a giveaway to win American Airlines Advantage miles to cover 2 round-trip economy class tickets to visit one of the fabulous Taste America chefs you've met tonight. We're about to reveal the winner. Drum roll, please. Congratulations! You'll be hearing from the foundation soon to arrange your prize. So start planning your trip and all the places you're going to eat. Safety for all, at work, at play. That is one of the pillars of the James Beard Foundation's Building Back Better campaign. That's how we ensure we can stay open for good. For good. I've competed with our next guest on Top Chef All-Stars many years ago. We both gave each other a run for our money. So here to tell us about another way the foundation is working to reshape the industry from within, we have chef and best-selling cookbook author and Emmy Award-winning television personality and my bestest friend ever, Chef Carla Hall.
Thank you. And hello, everybody. I can't even tell you what a kick I'm getting out of this event. It's like a whole new kind of TV dinner that you eat with 2,000 of your favorite friends. The food is fantastic. And what an incredible lineup of chefs across the country. We've all been through so much this year. So I do think that it's important to see silver linings when they come along and to hold on to them for the next time trouble hits. Because then we know that there's a way around it, or over it, or through it. That's why I really wanted to commend the chefs and their teams who pulled this night off. That took creativity and a whole lot of nerve that I know you have day in and day out. And let me say how honored I am to be here with all of you, because it's my job to talk about a major new initiative at the James Beard Foundation, the first ever food and beverage investment fund for Black and Indigenous Americans. I know you're applauding out there, so I'm gonna just pause for that. Go ahead, take your time. I know, it's finally here. I am so proud to sit on the leadership committee for this exciting initiative. The fund will provide $15,000 cash grants and other professional development opportunities for food and beverage businesses that are majority owned by Black or Indigenous Americans. We just kicked off the fundraising, and we hope to be opened for our first application window later this fall. This is something we've been needing for a very long time, like forever, honestly. Because Black and Indigenous chefs have contributed immeasurably to the food culture of the United States for centuries, but their contributions have regularly been overlooked. For many Black and Indigenous Americans, the resources needed to launch or grow their own businesses are more difficult to secure. As a result, there are fewer of us in leadership positions than there should be based on our contributions to the American cuisine. The James Beard Foundation is working to change that. So please visit jbffund.org to make a donation or to learn about applying for a grant. There are seismic shifts going on everywhere right now, but these vibrations are positive. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your dinner and have a wonderful night.
Isn't she amazing? I've cooked with Carla, I've competed with Carla, I've judged with Carla, I've eaten with Carla, and obviously I've seen Carla's Instagram. I know she's got this format all figured out, but not that many people can captivate the small screen like she does. I don't know about you, but I am actually feeling so hopeful. There's so much good being born right now. So much transformation going on. We have never seen harder times, that is true. But we have also never seen such unity and collective determination to build back better. We're gonna get into that a little now with a really dynamic group of chefs. Please welcome Eric Brunner Yang of Makedo in Washington, D.C., Daniel Leone of Breadfruit and Rum Bar in Phoenix, and Atlanta's Deborah Van Treese of Twisted Soul Cookhouse and Pours, with award-winning journalist, author, and television host, Gail Simmons.
Hi, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here, and I am so honored to be speaking to the three of you today. One of the small silver linings of this moment in history is that I have been able to connect with friends and colleagues across the country in a way that we didn't actually used to do before. So thanks for taking the time to speak with us, to speak with the James Beard Foundation, and to give us a little insight into what's happening in your corners of the country, because we are all in this together. Today's subject, our conversation subject, is building back better. And I think that means a lot of different things to a lot of us in many different ways. And I'm excited to hear your perspectives and, of course, to get to know a little bit about your business in this pivotal moment in the restaurant industry. But before we start, it's time for dessert. If you've been following along the whole time, there have been many courses served, and this is my favorite of all because it serves no purpose except for pleasure. Are you guys eating dessert? Chef Deborah, do you have a dessert with you?
I have a dessert with me.
What do you have? What are you eating?
I was hoping you'd say I could eat dessert.
Yes, time.
It is apple season in Georgia, so I have a apple and rosemary clafouti with a brie cream sauce and some muscovado pecans.
Chef Danielle, what are you eating?
You know, after a wonderful evening and all this energy that went into this, I just crave something really super simple. And we have a local bakery here in Phoenix, and they make these beautiful salted chocolate chip cookies that are just to die for. So I am breaking into one of these beautiful like ooey gooey cookies and just loving life right now.
In case you're wondering, I have a bumbleberry peach pie. I'm out in Portland, Oregon right now, and peach season just ended, apple season and pear season is here, and I've got the last of the peach and bumbleberry pie. On a sweet note, because we all could use as much sweetness as we can get these days. Let's talk about building back better. I'd love to start by hearing what that actually means to you, because building back better can't mean getting back to where we were before. It needs to be changed. And right now, I think we all are in a place where we know that it'll never be the same, but we have to get better. So, Chef Deborah, why don't you start? What does building back better mean to you?
I think, I've learned not to normalize this industry at all. And living life a lot differently, so that definitely encompasses my employees. I want, where we've already started the process of just better things in place for them in terms of, sick time, vacation time, pushing for insurance, things that just weren't typically a part of the industry in the care and the welfare of ourselves or our employees. Those are things that now we've had the time to take a hard look at and know that they're super important. They're super important to our lives and our livelihood. So I think that pretty much is what I think of when I say I want to build back better.
Yeah, infrastructure in a way that we haven't necessarily seen before, I think is key. What about you, Eric? What does building back better mean to you?
I think that if, obviously what's been happening over the last 6 months, shakes everybody to their core. And I think if we don't come through at the end of this with the reflection of what we want to do differently or how we want to live differently, whether it's how we work or how we interact with our families and in our communities, I think we would miss a golden opportunity to do that. I think us in the hospitality industry, we've always really just focused on, what the customer needs and not particularly what we need as people. Back to Deborah in terms of how we treat our staff, but also just how we treat our own mental health, how we treat our own physical health, and making sure that we can be happy. We can't, if we're not happy, the food's not happy. If we're not healthy, the food's not going to translate in that manner. And I think that, I think a lot of us got into this industry not to make money, and the fear of losing everything always kind of kept us from, really making advancements. And I think now that collectively we all know what real failure and fear can feel like, that freedom allows us to operate differently moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Danielle, what about you?
Yeah, I can echo a lot of what Deborah said and what Eric said. We've had the Breadfruit and Rum Bar we're 12 years old. Well, we would have been 12 in May. We've been shut down since March, but we're planning to reopen.
Still counts.
Counts, right? Yeah, we're still maintaining this little space. So building back better has come to redefine why I show up. I've always showed up because I love to cook and I love to host and I love to make people feel welcome and to give people what I feel they need. And I've realized since this pandemic that I've always done that at the expense of my own health and my own well-being. And I can't be a mother to thousands and thousands of people. It's exhausting. And I realized that it's time to step up and stand in my power as a chef. Building back better just means, hey, let's do this the right way. So this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm really looking forward to it.
So here's the question that I think is on everyone's mind who doesn't work in the industry, because I, for example, sort of straddle both worlds. I like to say I am not a chef, but I dwell among them. And so I spend a lot of my time trying to be proactive to help the restaurant community that I spend so much of my time championing. And I know that all of my friends who are civilians, who are diners and consumers and who love their local restaurants and who spend, every dollar they have eating out and traveling the world to experience great food, but feel completely helpless in this moment, how to save the restaurants and the people who work for them that they love so much. So can each of you give me a few things that we as diners can do for you and your restaurants to help support you? Danielle, why don't you start?
Yes, absolutely. I have something that's top of mind. So we're on our social media all the time, right? And you're on your laptop and your cell phone and you always see this hey, click here and sign the whatever form, right? And we're like, okay, again and again. Oh my God, right now, for the past 6 months, the restaurant industry, the independent restaurant industry, we have been working so hard to save ourselves. And we've been working on something called the Restaurants Act. And it has been taken into a bill in Congress, HEROES, and we are already passed in the House, and we need this bill to pass in the Senate. So what we're trying to do right now is have you all, the people of America, actually speak up and take a hot second. Literally, what I need you to do is lift a finger, like click on the button and generate this like little auto email. You don't even have to type it. Like seriously, you don't even have to.
It is easy. I literally did it when I got out of the shower the other morning, and it takes 2 seconds.
And it means so much because that actually will go to your congressional delegates, and they care.
Eric, how can we help support you?
I mean, I think we're probably all going to be on the same page or vein here. I mean, while you're at home enjoying this meal, you may just remember to vote. Voting is super critical right now. And and if you're a person that's an active voter, it's not really about reminding yourself to vote, but making sure that you're bringing other people to vote with you and making sure that voting is either a family affair, a community affair, protecting other people's right to vote, driving people to their ballot boxes or their crazy single ballot box in large counties, whatever you can do just to make sure people are heard. As we've seen with the CARES Act, it takes multiple steps for it to continue to get to the next phase. And I think that's really what we need to advocate for is just you have a right in this country to vote. And if you're an active voter, you try to bring other participants with you.
Deborah.
Yes.
Tell us how we can support restaurants and you and your community right now.
Go purchase food, buy food from us, on the most basic level. And it's a hassle, but I also encourage you, if you want that to-go meal, go pick it up. Because, there's another part to this, which is the fees that we are paying to get food delivered to you. It is a difficult thing for us. And I don't think consumers really look and realize how much they're paying and then understand the percentages that we are paying in addition to that.
Love that. Thank you. I'm invigorated and really inspired by all of you. You teach me so much every day. Last question. In one sentence, can you tell me what your hope is for the future? It's a big one, but if you have one wish, whether it's the next 6 months or the next 5 years, for your family, for your community, for your restaurant, for the world, Eric, what would it be? I know it's lofty, but we all need some hope.
I have 3 kids at home under 6, and I've been my daughter's first grade teacher for the last couple of months. And if I had one...
I feel you, by the way. I feel you.
Being a teacher is I thought I had a hard job. Being a teacher is the world's hardest job. And across the board, every teacher in America deserves a pay raise because it's just crazy. So that's my wish.
I hope that we embrace each other and respect each other a little bit more. We're a long way from the playing field being equal and I understand that, otherwise that would have been my wish, but I'm like, okay, well, but just knowing that we learned something from this, all that's gone on, and that it will make us better.
As my mother would say, from your lips to God's ears.
Yes.
Danielle.
That is a big question. So I think, over all of this time, what I've come to realize is that, or this would be my hope, is that as we all move forward from this moment on, that we realize how powerful our daily actions are, and that every one of you, every one of us, we stand in that power, take responsibility for it, speak up for what you know is right, and please don't be apathetic, because your indecision is a very powerful decision.
Good wishes. I'm I'm hoping to see all of it and more. Thank you all for spending time with us today, for eating dessert with me today. I'll be finishing my pie over here in Portland, Oregon. And I'm sending love to you and your families. Thank you so, so much.
I gotta tell you all, this virtual tasting and virtual visiting with chefs has me hankering for the real thing. I mean, I love where I live, but I miss trying out somebody else's local food. And we have such a wealth of choices in this country. That's why I had such a ball traveling with Capital One for a regional taste. So many cities, so many cool people, so many incredible meals. There's just nothing like going to the source. So until we meet again, a girl can dream and brush up on her locavore trivia. All the old games are back these days. So we have 20 chefs from all 20 of the regions featured on your menu tonight, ready to play a round of 20 questions for you. Our Taste America trivia is brought to you by our partners at Choose Chicago. Think you know where Loco Moco is made? Or how about the birthplace of Turduncan? Or the ingredients in a Watergate salad? Let's see what you guys can do.
All right, let's give this a whirl. Historians have speculated that which Denver food icon may have been created by Chinese railroad cooks as a transportable egg foo young. Is it ramen? I knew that was an eh. We're known for one thing, and that's the Denver omelet. Woo!
Frosé would be impossible without which technology Marvel invented in Dallas? Oh, that's easy. That would be the frozen margarita machine. Can I retire now?
When did the first officially sanctioned food cart open in Portland? Oh man, I feel like I should know this. Let's go with 1985. B, 1912. Right.
Roughly, how many mint juleps are served annually at Churchill Downs during the 2-day period of the Kentucky Oak and the Kentucky Derby? 120? Yes! Yes!
Which iconic Chicago dish came to be during the Great Depression? The Chicago-style hot dog. Yeah.
Which of the following is not in a King Ranch chicken casserole? Let's go with Fritos. Yay!
What famous Boston restaurant claims Boston cream pie as its own creation? And I actually happen to know that the answer is B, the Omni Parker House. Yes.
What is the name of the bronze piggy bank that stands in the middle of the Pike Place Market? I think it's D, Dale. Okay, so then it's B, Fran. Oh my God, no. Are they gonna kick me out of this city for this?
This ice cream company boasts that it's the oldest in America, first selling its classic line of vanilla and chocolate flavors on the streets of Philadelphia in 1861. This is the easiest question ever. Bassett's ice cream, yay!
The official state drink of Tennessee is which beverage? I'm gonna go with C, milk. Woo!
What is the difference between a Kansas City strip
and a New York strip? My answer, the Kansas City strip always tastes better. It's the original strip. Yeah, that's my answer.
Well, Kansas City strip has the bone in the steaks. So like our barbecue, you want to cook it on the bone. It's going to taste better. Sweet.
Which Miami mainstay and American Classic winner served the first stone crabs to diners in 1921? Joe Stone Crab.
Which of the following was not invented in Los Angeles? I know for a fact is D, nachos, because I am Mexican and there is no way that was invented here in Los Angeles. I won $1 million!
In the 19th century, the term tasso referred not to pork, but to this type of meat. That's a really good question. I'm a pastry chef. I'm gonna go with goat. D. Oh, man.
The modern fortune cookie was first served around the turn of the 20th century at what San Francisco institution? I'm gonna go with Cans. Oh.
Old Ebbitt Grill, conveniently located a block from the White House, dates back to 1856. Which president contributed the animal heads mounted around the bar? Teddy Roosevelt. That's why they have another place called Ted and the Bull, I think.
What is the official state food of Arizona? I'm gonna go with Apache trout.
On average, Georgia produces what percentage of America's annual peanut crop? Talk to me, Georgia ancestors. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna go with B, 50%. Oh gosh, thank you.
Which canned product beloved in Hawaii was in fact invented in Minnesota in 1937? I'm going to say Spam.
What are the 4 barbecue sauces of South Carolina? Ooh, Carolina barbecue, sweet and sticky. Man, I lost $1 million. This is foodpla, dude.
Yes, so much to know. How did you guys all do? I got almost all of them right. That's pretty good, right? As a chef, I think I should learn all I can about everything we eat and drink. That's part of the reason I like being on the road, which is school for your taste buds. That way I'm ready to tell you, should you ever ask, what makes bourbon bourbon and not whiskey? Hint, it's the high corn content and charred oak barrels and the fact that it's made in America, even though the name sounds French. Facts matter, right? I mean, we can finally agree on that, right? But so does passion. And passion plus knowledge is the recipe for success down at Rabbit Hole Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky. Rabbit Hole has graciously sponsored the cocktail portion of our program tonight. And here to show us how the magic is made is its founder, Kaveh Zamanian. This Rabbit Hole Sazerac is delightful, Kaveh.
Thank you, Antonia, and cheers, everyone. Wow, this Sazerac is indeed special. Well, folks, welcome to our home at Rabbit Hole. I hope one day you guys can come and visit us in person, but in the meanwhile, I'd love to be able to show you around a little bit of what we have here in our beautiful distillery. Where we are right now, we're standing actually in the manufacturing atrium. This is where all the magic happens, folks. You know, one of the things I love about American whiskey is that it has parallels to the culinary tradition in the sense that it all starts with the right ingredients. We have 5 different recipes of bourbon in production, and each one of them starts with a particular ingredient that is unique, allowing the finished product to be completely distinct. I'm standing right here in front of our fermentation tank. So once the grains are cooked, they go to these beautiful tanks where over the course of 3 days, they ferment and they get ready for distillation. Right here is our column still. This is a Vendome column still made by none other than our famed neighbors right down the street. It's a 65 feet tall column, 32 inches. And one of the things that's amazing about it, this is really an 18th, 19th century technology that still is relevant today. And simply what it does is that once the grains are converted to beer, which is about 5% alcohol, it goes through the still, and from there, the water and spent grain is separated from alcohol vapors that go all the way up to the column still and then get condensed to beautiful liquid before it goes into the barrels. Now, as you're seeing, I'm walking up stairs here, and this is one of the things that I want to highlight for you guys, because I designed this distillery in order to make sure that it showcases the art and science of whiskey making. I was so tired of seeing American whiskey languish, and I wanted to make sure that you're seeing the art and science and the beauty of distillation and what we do here in the States. Again, in the background, you're seeing the column still. But if you notice, this is a glass and steel structure. I am literally lifted off the manufacturing floor where you're able to have a bird's eye view of the entire operation. You're seeing now the fermentation tanks from a different vantage point and how you can smell, hear, and if you're actually here, you could even dip your hands in the fermentation tanks to taste the grain as it comes along. Now, we've reached an interesting point on the in the atrium where just to my right is that clear liquid that I was talking about coming off the still. And that clear liquid is essentially our whiskey right before it goes into the barrel to be aged. So let's keep going, because now the design of the distillery was such to make sure that we are not only able to give you an inclusive, full sensory experience, but to be able to allow you to see everything in full view. So no smoke and mirrors, complete transparency, showing the craft, the artisanship that goes into our products. You know, this is one of my favorite spots at the distillery because we are literally on top of the manufacturing floor. We're on the 3rd floor, right before we go to our tasting room overlook. And you're able to have a bird's eye view of the entire operation. Every time I'm up here, I get goosebumps because there's really nothing like it. And you're able to see things, see the entire process from different vantage points. That's absolutely spectacular. One other point, look up. If you look up, there are no fans here. The design of the distillery is such to make sure not only it's a functional facility, but it's an aesthetically pleasing experience. Because for us, just as our great chefs, it has to be not only tasty, but it has to look great. Now, here we are at top of the still that I mentioned earlier. I'm just getting ready to go and have a tasting. I hope you guys can join us. I really look forward to being able to share with you a little bit more about the products and take you through the whiskeys that we offer here at Rabbit Hole.
That was such a treat, Kaveh. Thank you. I'm putting a visit to your distillery on my must-to-do in Louisville list, and I will definitely check out that tasting. Visit jamesbeard.org or the link in this page to enjoy after the show. I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. It gives me so much pride to see our community and our allies come together, even when we can't be together. I want to encourage everyone to let your local restaurants know how much you love them. Most restaurant workers do not make a lot of money, and most have families to support. So let's make sure that they know that we are here for them. My favorite method is sending surprise takeout to my friends in other cities and getting local restaurants to deliver food to my parents. The hands that feed us need us. So let's do all that we can. And before DJ Hesta Prynn takes us out with another set, here are the voices of our brilliant chefs once more to remind us how important it is that we help them stay open for good. Good night.
I really think that local restaurants are the heart and soul of all communities.
Supporting restaurants keeps those cornerstones of the community and of the neighborhoods and of the people that inhabit those neighborhoods. They keep that life alive.
If you support our restaurant, it goes back into our people and our people's families, and it's like this big chain effect.
Restaurants are not only a huge employer in our community, but also support many different industries down the supply chain.
It's important because that's where the backbone of the industry lives. That's where our community lives, and that's where our people live.
Buying from farmers comes around, people are spending money with us. So it's kind of like make a stronger community.
We all on the same boat, and we really, really need people to come by and spend time at other places, eat in different restaurants.
Restaurants are the lifeline of communities, and we are there to give back to the community and to make memories. And if we're not there, your neighborhood really changes. So
we're just all trying to hang on and do what we can so that there is something at the end of this. And when we get through all this, that there's a great place for us to enjoy one another and create more memories.
Community starts with us in the small restaurants, local restaurants.
They are sort of part of the fiber of a local economy and a local culture in general.
But we're the ones that support the majority of the 13 million people that work in the industry.
So every sale, every purchase is a lifeline.
Food is something that is not a luxury, it's a necessity, and we all have to eat.
We give you a place to go out and relax and be taken care of, to see and be seen.
If you want to keep enjoying local restaurants and you want to keep that uniqueness to your city, you got to support them.
eat a lot and eat some more.